Hi, I'm here this evening with Dr. Amr, who's a leading Egyptologist in Egypt, and we're sitting overlooking the Nile in the new St. Regis Hotel. So what we're going to try and find out about this evening is the reasons why someone should come to Egypt on vacation. So we know about the pyramids, we know about the Sphinx, we know about going on a Nile cruise, etc. But we're going to find out about other interesting things to do. So Dr. Amr, what do you think people should do when they come to Egypt? What should they look for that's different?
Actually, Egypt always catered for tourist, needs and inquests, since the 1860s. Because since Thomas Cook started the very first tour to Egypt, in the 1860s, Egypt has been a site that is really very much in demand. It can offer everything. It can offer a classical tour where you see the pyramids, which this is the oldest monument all over the world, and the beginning of civilization for the whole world. Because if you visit, for example, Saqqara, this is where really the first time man made stone for the first time, cut stones to make a building with it, and then the pyramids in Giza, the Nile cruise. But besides that, you've got a chance. If you come to Egypt now, you have a very good chance to see other parts of civilization, like the Christian, Islamic, Jewish civilization, because they all played a big part in Egyptian history over here.
And were the Copts here before the Muslims?
Yes, of course. This is a bit of an intriguing question, because I consider myself a Coptic Muslim, because Copts, it means Egyptians, and we as Muslims, even we are Copts Muslims. But everyone when they think of Copts, they think of Coptic Christianity, because it is true that we have our own church over here, the Coptic Church, because it's the Egyptian church. It's part of the Orthodox Church. It's actually the mother of Orthodox Church, because from it came the Greek Orthodox and the Russian Orthodox later on, that started over here in Egypt.
And there's things you can visit, like there's places, Coptic areas within Cairo as well that you can visit, aren't there?
Of course. Besides the famous Old Cairo area, where you can visit the church, which is supposed to be the hiding place of Jesus and Mary, as Jesus fled to Egypt when he was an infant, and was his mother and Joseph the carpenter, and spent about 3 years and 7 months in Egypt when he was an infant. Besides that area, there is a cave over there, where they spent 6 months of that flight into Egypt. In one church over there, St. Sergius Church. Besides that, you can follow the track of the Holy Family. This is really a very interesting thing that we've been trying to promote in Egypt. The Holy Family Trail, because they came from our borders with Israel nowadays. They came from Jerusalem. They came to Egypt through Sinai, and then they came to Cairo, and then they flee when they felt the danger. They flee on the Nile, and they went all the way to Minya, where there is a mountain, where is a cave they stayed, and it's known as the Mountain of the Birds, because birds have protected them over there. And then they went farther south into Asyut, where is a very famous monastery over there, also was the area where the Holy Family stayed. And then they retraced their footsteps up to Cairo, but then they went to the Western Desert into an area called Wadi Natron, where the first monasteries all over the world started over there.
And Jewish heritage as well. If we had clients who wanted to, sort of go on a vacation to Egypt, and as well as doing the classical trip, if they wanted to maybe research or, visit areas of Jewish interest, is that something that, clients can do if they spend time with you?
Of course, because you can start simply by going to Old Cairo, because in Old Cairo there is a synagogue over there where it is believed that this is the place where Moses knelt before God for the first time. Wow. So they believe in that area, in the synagogue of Ben Ezra, this is where Moses knelt before God for the first time, as he was a prince of Egypt, if we look at it that way. And then he became a believer in the one God, and he took his people and left Egypt afterwards. There is actually, you must understand that most of Egyptologists started as a biblical quest. Because a lot of Egyptologists they started coming to Egypt over here to look for the true traces of the Old Testament. So you can actually follow it from here to the land of Goshen, which it is believed it's an area east of Cairo and in northeast of Cairo. This is where they went through that area, and actually in that area northeast of Cairo there is a place also where it is believed to be the area where Bethlehem and the land of Goshen, and all the events of the Old Testament, of the Exodus happened in that area. Then they left Egypt through Sinai. And in Sinai, there is more than one place actually. There is a very famous place that's a hidden gem called Sarabit al-Khadam, where on top of a mountain over there is a temple where it is believed to be the tabernacle where the elders of the Israelites used to gather over there during their 40 years of wilderness in the desert. And in the same place which they knew as they were working in the mines of turquoise over there. So they stayed in that area where there's a beautiful temple for goddess Hathor over there, the goddess of turquoise. And they put their tabernacle in that area. And then actually, in relation to Egypt as well, talking about hidden gems, you can actually stay at in Aswan, if you go to a place in the Old Cataract Hotel. In the Old Cataract Hotel, if you're sitting in the hotel, you're overlooking the island of Elephantine, where it is believed by some people that maybe this is the place where the tabernacle is hidden until today. There is one place over there where at the edge of the island of Elephantine, just facing the hotel of the Cataract Hotel, which is a marvelous hotel by the way, facing that hotel, there is the island of Elephantine where they believe that maybe the tabernacle is still hidden over there. So besides, of course, there is a wonderful synagogue in Alexandria. Actually, in Egypt up to today, there are still 30 synagogues all over Egypt.
So there is so much more to do. And other hidden gems, for people who are interested more in the ancient Egypt, any hidden gems you don't know?
Of course, one of my personal recommendations, would be Minya. Going south of Cairo, for about a couple of 100 kilometers, you go to Minya, which is very easily, you can do just a day trip, or you can do actually 3-4 days, because it's really wonderful. It's got some amazing temples and tombs, and especially it is the place where it's very much related to the cult of the one god, Atum. Like Atum, built his city over there, and he built his temples over there, and his people lived in that area. So it's completely different. It's different art. The first monotheist, So it is really wonderful as well.
Fantastic. And then the other thing I've discovered is that, for our clients we've always found that they don't want to just see and do, but they want to feel and engage. And I've been here traveling around, and everyone is engaging a lot. People you have, stories to tell after even just being served dinner. And people tell you the history of all the food, like Ali, and the popular stories, and the green soup that I'm going to butcher the name, Molokhia. Made out of mallow leaves. All these stories, you hear the stories, and about, how it's forbidden by, in the past and everything. So the cuisine has absorbed a lot from the different peoples who came, be they French, British, Turkish. And you were mentioning earlier that you can also have, a dinner can be arranged in a private home.
Oh yeah, of course. You can have a dinner with an Egyptian family. That would be really nice, where the hostess, she would prepare the typical Egyptian dinner for her family and for the family that they are hosting, and you'd spend time with them, talking to them, talking to their kids, and because that would be really a first-hand experience with an Egyptian family. Not in a restaurant, but a real Egyptian home where you sit with the family and talk to them. That could be arranged. And
interesting for the family too.
It's really wonderful, because sometimes the family itself, this is very important, because this is how you really see those travelers firsthand.
And another perspective.
And another perspective, because for you coming from another country, you have a certain perspective about the Egyptians, and the Egyptians also have a certain perspective about Americans, Mexicans, and so on. So it's really nice to break those barriers and talk firsthand. See similarities.
Especially when you look at
we're
the
human
beings.
beings.
Mayan cultures, and you see the similar. Yeah, it's amazing.
So this is really wonderful. You can go to some of our trips. We arrange also a trip to, for example, the Nubian village, the Nubian home, where they can have dinner also over there. So it's really nice. Or also, if you want something really different, you can do desert trip, where you have lunch with the Bedouins, and because we do have that in the Eastern Desert in Sinai, or in the Western Desert in the Oasis as well. That is possible, because we're very lucky here in Egypt. We have the Bedouins in the east, we have the Nubians in the south, and so we have different cultures, that mix together and make us the Egyptians.
And I suppose the most important thing from our point of view is that when we have clients and advisors, that we make sure they find what the clients are interested in, and then a customized itinerary could be built around it, so that it could be made sure that places of interest to them can be visited or explored.
Definitely, and with your type of tours, we're very keen, we're very flexible, because someone comes and they feel that they want to do it this way or that way. I think anything could be arranged. I mean, yes, yeah, nothing is impossible over here in Egypt, and especially with your tourists, with your travelers, we can arrange it in any way they like it. I mean, even after they arrive, they want to do something different. Anything that was in hand that would be done definitely.
And the experience that I've had visiting all the hotels the last 2 weeks is just, they're absolutely amazing. Like the quality is out of this world, and there's some unknown that we were talking about as well. One's like, charming hotels that are just dotted around the countryside, like you mentioned in Aswan, but also in the city centre, that could be combined with those iconic 5-star properties.
Oh yeah, of course, because now even also the idea of those boutique hotels is really gaining ground in Egypt over here, like the one I was talking to you about, in Khan Khalili, in Fayoum, there's a wonderful also boutique hotel over there. In Minya, there is a boutique hotel. In Aswan now, even away from the famous cataract, this is really an amazing hotel, one of the best in the world. But apart from that, there is also more than one Nubian house now, where you can take the house, or you can take 2-3 rooms or something like that, and stay in Nubian house, and in a luxurious way. Because before it was possible, but not in a very luxurious way. Now it's possible to do it in a luxurious way as well. So this is all possible.
Brilliant. And then finally, just for, two things. One thing I've noticed as well is that it seems that this is the best time ever to plan a trip to Egypt. It's not busy. There's no lines. There's no queues. So you see things that you normally wouldn't have access to, or you might give up on because, it will take longer to do something. Whereas, the traffic is less because there's less tourists, there's less people parking along these, wonderful places to visit. So I think it's the best time to visit.
That's very true. Besides all that, besides the fact that the country is really not so crowded nowadays, but besides that as well, we are changing as Egypt itself is changing, and the traffic is changing. The famous Cairo Traffic that used to be an icon of Cairo, where you take hours to go from one place to the other, this is disappearing. This is changing with the new traffic, arrangements, with the new bridges and so on. So even traffic in Cairo is becoming less. The sites, of course, as you're saying, it's really amazing. You get to places where you can go in immediately, where normally you could line up, for half an hour before you can get into a site, or an hour before you get inside.
You sense positivity and energy here as well. Like, I know people are moaning about paying taxes, but the money they're spending, it seems that it has a very good strategic plan in place for the future of Egypt as well.
It is very true. We are changing, definitely, and we are changing for the benefit of us as Egyptians, and also to be able to host and welcome everyone. So really, we would love to have you over here and have your people. And so
last but not least, anything if people wanted to propose, in moonlight, in front of the Great Pyramid, everything is possible, isn't it?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course, it can be arranged to have a special dinner at the pyramids, for example, a special dinner at one of the temples. This is all possible to arrange, and it's really fantastic. It's a fantastic atmosphere, really.
So, Dr. Amr, thank you. Shukran jazeelan.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.